Squatters, I hope you guys are good. Welcome back. It's another episode. We keep on engaging. Thank you very much for those who watch my content, those who have not subscribed. Please do so because I want to stretch this issue of politics much further. So we engage in different angles. Some of these things will shock you. Some of these things we have had fair share of our own experiences, personal experiences as human beings. I've just recently, questioned myself after researching about the former U.S. President Barrack Obama, and he has got a half brother. Actually, his half brother is George Obama. George Obama shares a father with Barack Obama, not the mother. So his father actually left Nairobi, Kenya, to the US in Hawaii. And when he got there, he met Barack Obama's mother, and they had Obama. So it's Barack Obama's half-brother whom they share the father. So George Obama is currently living in slums. It's like when you are in South Africa living in Diepsloot. If you know Diepsloot, Fourway side, or you're staying in Alexandra, you see those places whereby they are mostly occupied by slums and people who are literally living below the poverty line. I'm not saying people who are from Alexandra are poor, but I'm referring to the area itself, especially those squatter camps and all of that. We call it squatter camps, the same as the name of my channel. So in another language is slums. So he's staying actually in a kind of hostel, and his situation is very bad, man. So what I'm trying to reflect here is that, as people, as human, we can do politics, we can do other things, whatsoever. We can engage on the online space, but at the end of the day, we are human, and we have got lives that we live on our private spaces, and we've got family members and all of that. So seeing George Obama in that kind of life, living that kind of life, and now it begs the question that as much as he is the half-brother of Barack Obama, don't we at some point as people maybe wants to or become interested in tracing our origins, tracing our family trees and all of that? Because I believe for George Obama to live that kind of a life, Barack Obama can be able to help him. Let me put it plain and straight, like he can be able to pull some strings, man, to help him better his life and become a better human being. Because the life that he's living now, you would even completely disagree that this is the half brother of Barack Obama, who is the former president, who has got access to anything. He can even organize citizenship for him, or maybe to move from Nairobi, or maybe for him to stay there, but change his life somehow. Because you can't be that person that enjoys life, you're living the best life with your family, and some of your family members continue to live in dire situations where they sometimes go to bed on an empty stomach. That's the kind of the situation I'm referring to. And so it's so painful when people know that your brother is Barack Obama, the former US president, and is someone who has got, I'm not saying it's an obligation, but I'm saying it's someone who has got an influence, who can pull some strings for you to get a better life. But he continues to be stuck in poverty, to be impoverished, and living that kind of life. So those are the real questions that as Africans we should be asking ourselves. I'm asking myself now that, doesn't Barack Obama maybe go to Nairobi, Kenya, to visit Kenya? And when he visits Kenya, does he visit his brother, his half-brother? And if he visits his half-brother, what are you saying, bro? What are you saying about your brother's situation? And if let's say, for argument's sake, Barack Obama says, I don't have any relationship with that person, you can't dispute your blood. I mean, you can't dispute your blood. He's your blood brother. He's your half brother, but you share the same father, which means, if your father dies, you will share the funeral. He will also attend as the child, and you will also attend as the child. So, whichever the way, it connects you. We don't choose families. It connects you. And as an African, I believe it's very much important to trace our family tree, to find out exactly where we come from. And if Barack Obama doesn't go to Kenya, or maybe if he goes there once in a while, what is his connection with because those are his roots. That's where he actually belongs. Barack Obama is an African. He cannot be an American. Yeah, they try to change it and say these are African Americans, but they are not African Americans. They are American Africans. They are Africans who are staying in America. They are not Americans who are staying in Africa, or either way. They are Africans. They remain Africans. Barack Obama is an African. So his roots, the umbilical cord, should be associated with Kenya. I don't know if I make sense. And you happen to find this skepticism in many people, especially prominent people, don't really want to talk about their history for some reason. Some are hiding. It's the same thing as when the EFF leader, Julius Malema, doesn't want to talk about his father. And if you grow up and become a man like that, and you don't want to talk about certain issues, it raises questions, because at the end of the day, you need to tell your kids about their family tree. And your kids will always ask you this question. Where's your mother's family? Where's your father's family? Where do you come from? Especially when they grow a little bit older, they start to understand certain things. And you can't lie to kids. You can't lie to them, and you can't tell them that, I don't know my father. What do you mean when you say, I don't know my father? Because as we grow, we have the means, the financial means, that we can trace and travel and try to meet few people, and whatever the trace that was actually left for you, you need to take it from there and follow the trail until you reach to the actual family. So if I have to talk about, let's say, Julius Malema, if he wants to know the family tree from his father's side, he can do that. It's either he is in constant denial, or he knows the truth, he just doesn't want to tell. Because remember, there were also stories that his father is from Zimbabwe, and therefore maybe he doesn't want South Africans to know. You know how South Africans are, mostly in most cases. Immediately they find out that you have a roots, a family tree from Zimbabwe, they start taking you as a foreigner, and now they are going to use that as a weapon to attack you in every chance they get that, yeah, but you can't represent us because you are a Zimbabwean, because, you know, that's how South Africans mostly behave. Not all of them, but mostly that's how they behave. And which is something that we should actually do away with. We should stop judging Africans by where they come from. That because remember, we've got an issue with tribalism, and tribalism spreads up to also when you're coming from other countries. But even locally, when the Zulu is speaking to Tswana, when, you know, this one doesn't want to learn this one's language and all of that. Now we're talking about Africanism. We're talking about our roots. We're talking about where we come from. And we've got prominent people who are also going through the same thing that ordinary people go through. And so it's worrisome, because if you don't want to talk about that, if anyone gets a chance to talk to Obama one-on-one and ask him how does he feel about his brother living that life, living in slums and being stuck in life and drowning in poverty and all of that, I believe that, you know, it touches you as a human being. I don't know, maybe we are not the same. Maybe some people don't have that kind of conscience, you know. I have that heart of helping other people, especially if it's a family member. You don't want to be rich and drive Rolls Royce and drive Lamborghinis and Maseratis when your family is going through, you know, poverty and all of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too sensitive to poverty or what, but you can't be having 20 million and live a fancy life comfortably, so when there's another family member that is starving and goes to bed hungry. I mean, even if it's an ordinary person, you've got to help those people where you can. You've got to do something about it. You've got to, you know, when someone approaches you and they are hungry and they're asking for food, why can't you help if you can? So that's basically Africanism. So that's basically Ubuntu, that we were taught as Africans, that we really need to take care of ourselves and take care of one another. That is why white people took advantage. The apartheid government took advantage when Jan van Riebeeck came to South Africa in 1652. Africans accommodated him and gave him supper and all of that, until now he turned into becoming an enemy, because he took advantage of Africans who were very kind, who were very open, and they thought they were accommodating him and taking good care of him, so that when he goes back to Holland, then he can tell, you know, the people of Holland that South Africans are so cool, they took care of me and all of that. By the way, Africans, because there it was just Africa. We didn't have a lot of things like provinces and all of that. This nonsense came with them after colonization. So I'm very much worried about how, as Africans, do we approach this kind of issues, because one way or the other, if you grow up, let's say you are raised by a single parent, and when you try to ask your mother, where's your father, she doesn't want to talk, because women mostly, they don't want to talk about our fathers. When you ask, who's my father, you know, they respond, especially when they had a fight and all of that, but which is not wiser, because you have a right to know about your father and the family tree and all of that. It's not your business that they fought, their relationship didn't work, or the marriage didn't work, or your father was abusive and all. It's none of your business. You just want to know your roots, so you can follow through and get your family tree and get what you deserve. Because some people in life are stuck because they don't know where they belong, because of the very same women who were single parents and they raised these kids. So they still have got anger, they are still bitter, they don't want to talk about the father side and all of that. So it raises so many questions. Like I made an example of the EFF leader that not wanting to talk about your father in public, or maybe to tell the people, to take people into confidence actually who your father is, the family tree, and because people would want to know, especially when we are a public figure, would want to know where do you come from and all of that. They become curious. Like myself, I've been going deeper in, with research and all of that. Then you get to know that, but there's this guy who's still struggling, George Obama, who's the half-brother of Barack Obama. And Barack Obama is living a fancy life. He's in America, he's a citizen there, and all of that. And he doesn't look like he has got any interest with Africa. He doesn't look like he might maybe relocate to stay in Kenya and all of that. So it's so sad that the brother is going through this and the other brother is living a fleshy life. At the same time, if you can ask yourself this question that, okay, fine, let's say he doesn't care, he doesn't want anything to do with him. Does it mean if George passes on and Barack Obama wouldn't attend his funeral? Because if you say you don't want anything to do with your half-brother, when he dies, then it means you're not going to attend the funeral. Then if you attend the funeral when he passed on, why wouldn't you take care of him when he was still alive? When he dies, then you look more like you care, you come to his funeral. And those are the things that as Africans, those are the most fundamental, basic things that we really need to deal with. And if we don't deal with these issues, really as Africans, we are bound to fail, because that's not our roots. Our roots is Ubuntu, is to take care of one another. That's why you see so many families, you find that they say the eldest brother is an advocate, but the other siblings, they are just poor. And you can see that these people have got potential, but no hand delivers some assistance there. Sometimes it's not all about you must take care of them and buy them whatever they want. It's not an obligation, by the way. But to help a sibling can take you somewhere, because if you've got 2-3 siblings, you help them maybe academically to finish their university degrees and all of that, they have better lives. Somehow in life, you'll never know. You might get stuck. Then the same brothers, the same sisters might come and help you and bail you out and say, listen, this is our brother. He took care of us. I know that some you've helped your family members and you never benefited anything. But it's okay as long as you played your role. The purpose here is to play your role, so you don't look like someone who doesn't care, someone who has actually abandoned his or her family. So it's so sad to see things like this happening to the prominent people that we look up on, And what about an average person who's just working a normal job and earning a salary? And it's so sad. That's why celebrities, they get exposed that he's doing this, but his family is, continues to be poor. There were allegations to the late Swisonwan, may his soul rest in peace, that he bought this pastor a 2 million car, but his mother was suffering. His mother didn't have food to eat and all of that, and they were not, it's alleged, by the way, that they were not in good terms. And sometimes as men, we are actually brought into this situation or this kind of situations by the women we meet in life. So you say this person is your wife, you love her, you marry her, and she's busy discouraging you to fight with your family and telling you that your mother is a witch and all of that. Those kind of politics, that really has got no price, and has got no benefits. And the only thing that it's going to do is to isolate you, and you're going to just remain with your wife, and your whole family will now be pushed aside. And whenever there's anything, and it will be difficult for them to participate or to help or to do whatever. So it's very horrible to have a bad relationship with your family. It's very horrible. It's a painful thing. I know that sometimes you need to go through that because of some reasons. For some reasons, you find that yes, you are not in good terms with your family, but these are the things that really hold us behind as Africans. I don't know, Squatters, you'll have your comment on this. Maybe I'm just expecting too much from Barack Obama. Maybe, like I said, and I still emphasize, it's not an obligation, but what does your conscience say about your brother? And, it's public, it's online. We can all see that, your brother is going through a lot. So, it's so sad, man. It's so sad. But anyway, Squatters will keep engaging. It's politics, but on another level of, Africanism, Ubuntu, humanity and all of that. So sometimes we need to spark that conscience, that lesson. We need to follow our family trees and try to find out where we come from. It's very important, and help our family members. Thank you for watching my content, Squatters. Let's keep engaging. I really appreciate those people who take their time and watch my content. Let's grow this channel. I promise to deliver more and more and more. Sharp Squatters.